And take two.
All right. Hello and welcome to the episode 10 of the vlog for the Sonata Chronicles. You have William Brown, Fantastico.
Hello.
And myself, Charles Collier, asking questions and being annoying. That's me. And luckily today we have a viewer question that we're going to answer for you, which reads, what have been your biggest influences for this film, if any?
Well, growing up, I was a big fan of Star Wars, and so a lot of it came from just a love of that, and then wanting to do something on that level of my own. And a lot of my favorite movies that I own are that. This will probably open me up for some mocking, but movies like Kroll, which is cheese, but it's a fine cheese. It's like a brie.
Just remember that fire mares can travel 10,000 leagues in a day.
Yes, this is what Kroll teaches us.
Yes.
Also, Willow.
Beautiful movie.
Yes.
Beautiful movie.
So, films like that really kind of shaped where I was going with this. But then there were tabletop role-playing games, which we've been doing since I was in 4th grade, 5th grade? 5th grade.
Long time.
And so just an enjoyment of adventuring and fantasy. And then my grandmother, my dad's mom, she used to really like to tell us Bible stories as kids.
Like
and
Gilgamesh, David and Goliath.
David and Goliath was a big one. Tower of Babel. The stories of King Solomon.
Sure.
So a lot of those now. In this, I keep reiterating that I'm trying to keep it faith neutral. It's not a Bible story. There's no Christendom in this film. It's a completely alien world, completely fantasy world. And so it's not. It's a Bible story without the religion, without the Judeo-Christian religion, or even Eastern religion, or any kind of religion whatsoever.
It's more of just the archetype of that particular style of story, or the hero's journey.
Right.
Is what we're going for.
And that kind of epic story where victory comes through faith and belief and willpower.
Great answer. Thank you.
No problem.
So, well, I guess we'll get into the rest of the vlog, So last week we talked about a little extensively about the webcomic and the history of that. So I think this week we should talk about maybe the video game that's going to come after the webcomic as far as history goes, but before the movie. So what time period are we looking at for the first of the video game installments?
It'll come just after the formation of the Empire. It will start with the cities being built. So you'll be seeing Constant's Palace, which is a centerpiece in Fallen Star, being constructed.
Mm-hmm.
So the comic book is Constant and Carios kind of, not necessarily in their youth, but mid-swim in their adult lives, fighting evil. And then you get into the video games where they've transitioned into immortal rulers and are now building their stable and global empire and securing it with some of their other comrades.
So we said that the webcomic of Carios and Constant's youth and their history was about 1,000 years before the Fallen Star. And so the video game, are we looking like maybe half that time, so 500 years?
I would say, so you have their youth, which is, their story, which is probably 10 to 20 years. Maybe even a little longer. Maybe 50 years before, so you're about 1,050. The video games will maybe start 50 years after, so about 950 before the start of Fallen Star.
So we're constructing the major city that Fallen Star is going to take place in. Obviously, we'll have 900 years to make up for that time period, but we've got 5 games, correct? That we're looking at developing, so that's 5 games. And we'll have, one before the movie, one in between, movies 1 and 2, one in between... 2 in between.
So
movies.
one before the first film, Fallen Star, and then one afterwards, and then one will predate the release of the second film, which is currently being written, and one that comes after that, and then the last one will predate the third film before it opens.
Fantastic. So we got...
And just to be aware, those are a continuous story, 950 years before the first film, not catching up and going into the stories of the films.
Right, because the end of Fallen Star should come into the beginning of the second film currently being written.
Correct.
So the games will be related storyline, but a continuous storyline for the 5 films. Just the release dates will be in conjunction with or together with the movies.
Yeah, it's essentially your character is instrumental in creating the environment that then springs up the stories that come out of the movies. So that way there's a dynamic ownership of the films. Because really, I mean, part of this is, I think, so much science fiction and fantasy is about the creator, about the originator, I should say, and about their egos and their visions. My goal for this is to take a little bit closer to a Gene Roddenberry approach to science fiction and fantasy. I want it to be about the fans. I want it to be something that the community owns, the community appreciates, that people all get.
Fantastic. Well, I do believe that's our time for today. Thank you again, William, for explaining so much for us. And if you do have questions, make sure you hit us up on the Twitter account at Chronicles Sonata, or you can ask us messages on the Facebook page, the Sonata Chronicles Official.
Or you can go and leave comments on YouTube.
That's right. These are all on YouTube, so make sure you do that.
Excellent.
And we'll see you next week for episode 11.
11.